Hey, what's up, shitheads? Welcome back to the channel. Well, the day has finally arrived, and it's time to swap out the derailleur on the Dual Star to an 8-speed clutch setup. Now, I've already done this on my 5-star, but I didn't film the process, and I had enough comments of people asking, hey, can you show us how to do it? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, guys, just a word of warning, I do not enjoy doing these types of videos because, as you see here, I'm doing this install in my living room. I don't have a proper shop, and it can be quite frustrating due to the lack of space, and filming it just makes it that much more difficult. But since I love you guys so much, I'm going to be doing that for you today. And all I ask in return is maybe like this video or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll give you a link to all the parts used in this video, and I guess, guys, let's another way around it. Let's just go ahead and get started. Come on, let's go. All right, guys, here we are. Here is the derailleur in question. And you might be asking right away, why are we switching to an 8-speed? I looked all around, up and down the internet. I could not find a clutch 7-speed derailleur. Only ones I found were 8-speed and up. So we're going to have to switch to an 8-speed. But the good thing is, the 8-speed comes with an 11 by 36 tooth freewheel. This is an 11 by 34. So you do get a little bit extra on the low gear. So to do this, we're going to need the freewheel, the shifter, and the derailleur. We're going to reuse the stock chain. Additional tools we're going to need this cassette freewheel tool, and I'll leave the link in the description of all these parts. And we're going to need a chain breaker, and my multi-tool has a chain breaker. Other than that, it's just basic hand tools. Another thing we're going to need is this here. This is a swear jar because, guys, we're probably going to end up needing this. First thing I do, take a picture of each side of your dropouts because you need to make sure everything goes back there in the same place. I'm going to turn this bike upside down. So do you need me to show you how to do that, guys, or can you figure out how to do that on your own? Unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to take this off using a crescent wrench because I believe this is a 21-inch socket and I don't have a 21. I'm going to take off the derailleur hanger, or take off the derailleur rather. Once it's done, okay, now I'm going to take off the chain. Well, we're going to do that by breaking the chain. This chain doesn't have a master link, so my multi-tool has a chain breaker, but you got to be very careful you don't push the pin all the way through. You only want to push it just enough to get the chain off and not enough to take the pin all the way out, because if you take that pin all the way out, good luck getting the pin back in. Just enough to get the chain off. Keep in mind, guys, I am not a professional bike mechanic. I may show you how to do some things wrong in this video, or there may be better ways to do it. Guys, if you want to know why I get frustrated doing these things at my house, this is probably a good indication why. Look, this is like 10 minutes into the install, and it's just an absolute disaster. And Mr. Dog over here has no concept of personal space, so he just keeps walking back and forth through the scene. The derailleur is ready to come out. And in order to unbolt it, we're going to use this I don't know, just find which one fits, guys. We're going to have to cut the zip ties that hold on the motor cable on the other side as well. And then we're going to unscrew the motor connection. Okay, in order to take off the washer, the torque washer on the disc brake side, there's this little, you have to take out the Allen wrenches, the Allen bolts. Now that we have everything removed on each side, all the nuts and washers, we can just pull the wheel right out. There we go. Now it's time to take off the freewheel. We're going to use this freewheel cassette tool here. Whew. If you look on the back, you can see there's threads in the body of this that just thread it right onto the motor. Give it a good 1 or 2 ugga-duggas. You don't need it super tight because the rotation of everything naturally tightens this, so it's not going to come loose. I'm going to put that washer back on first. It's actually significantly easier to do this when the derailleur is off of the bike. Now it's time to mount up our shiny new clutch derailleur. I did want to show you that you can turn on and off the clutch on this derailleur, so make sure right there, you can see it there, counterclockwise off, clockwise on. Hey, now it's time to say goodbye to everybody's favorite shifter in the world. Now, if this is anything like my 5-star, this is going to be an extremely tight fit. Remove the brake handle. We're going to reuse the same housing that's on the bike already, and we're going to route the cable on the new shifter through the same housing. So since we have it cut on the other side, we can just pull the cable all the way through. So here's our brand new micro shift Acolyte shifter. You can see it's a little bit bigger. We're going to stick this on the handles as well. So guys, like I told you, be prepared. This can be a really tricky, tight fit. So now we have our shifter cable here, and we're just going to run that shifter cable right back down the existing housing. You can already see it's coming out on the other side, so no restrictions at all. Perfect. Stick our brake lever back on, our throttle. See, the problem is this throttle has this huge piece right here, and to get it to line up can be a bit tricky. So I'm going to probably leave it on top here. It's kind of ugly, but I think it's going to give us plenty of space. Okay, pro tip, to get this shifter to fit, I had to loosen it and I had to finagle it way off to the end here to push it over enough where I can see that the bar end is here underneath the clamp on the side. So it is a very tight fit, but I can tell it's going to fit. So we're not going to tighten this back up right now. We're going to leave that to the final step. Now let's go ahead and route the cable to the derailleur. Here's the other side of the derailleur cable. I'm going to need to shorten this housing just a little bit. We need less of it than we did on the other one. So I'm going to cut some of this off, and this is not the best method of doing this. Did you want to help? You know, the beauty of video editing is I could edit out all the frustrating parts of this and make it seem like it was a cakewalk. I mean, it's really not that hard. This is not very hard of an install. Where I'm doing it at, this is not a proper work environment, guys. Once things get cluttered, I can lose my ability to think correctly, and I just start getting frustrated. Let me know if I'm the only one. This is all stuff I do for you, the viewer at home, to make your life easier. Because, you know, you get these nice bikes, you take it out for a ride, and then you just hear this awful derailleur noise. You know, it sucks. I know it adds some cost to the bikes, but these bikes really should be coming with clutch derailleurs. All right, guys, super cool thing happened where I recorded all of this, and none of it was in focus. So we're going to go ahead and do it again. But unfortunately, I already connected the derailleur cable, but I can try and walk you through this. But you know what? If you check out eCell's made a video, Gator shows you how to align your derailleur. I'm by no means an expert at this portion, but I'll kind of show you what I did. So once you get this connected, before you connect the cable to your derailleur, you need to set your limit screws. When there's no cable, your derailleur is going to want to push all the way out, meaning it's going to be in the highest gear where you see the chain at now. It's going to be in this cog. And to set the limit screw, it's one of these two. You turn the limit screw and it'll adjust how far in or out the derailleur goes. You want to have it set so it's aligned perfectly with that outside cog, which it is right now. And then when I connect the cable the first time, after you have that aligned, you leave it set up and you pull the cable tight, not too tight, you just want to have it snug so there's no slack in the cable, and then you tighten down the cable to the derailleur with the shifter set in gear 8 or the highest gear. And that should get you set up aligned to your smallest cog. Once I did that, I started pedaling and then shifted through all my gears. And I verified that I could shift from the smallest cog all the way up to the biggest cog. And once I shifted through all the gears, I realized I wasn't able to get into the biggest cog. And that was because I needed to set the other limit screw, which is the second one here, and able to allow the derailleur to move far enough out to get to the derailleur into the biggest cog. Once I did that, I pedaled and I shifted back and forth through the gears and verified that I could get on all the gears. So once you do this and you have it generally kind of aligned, so once you're at this point, you're going to use the barrel connector on the shifter up at the front of the bike to fine tune the shifts between the biggest and smallest cogs. I find like really get the bike tuned in, you need to go take it out for a ride. If it's skipping, if it wants to go up or down a gear, then you're going to have to adjust the barrel connector on the shifter clockwise, the barrel connector clockwise to move it closer to the smallest cog, and you turn it counterclockwise to move it closer to the biggest cog, and you kind of just have to fine tune it from there to figure out exactly, to get all your shifts figured out. This is exactly why you're going to want a clutch derailleur. If you look at this bike, the chainstay on it is scratched up pretty bad already. And I've had this chainstay protector on there since day one. But if you look here, there's a significant amounts of scratch in the paint from the chain slapping up and down. So putting on this clutch derailleur, as I'm going to demonstrate in a minute, significantly cuts down on how much this chain will flop around when you're riding around. But still, 100% recommend getting yourself a chainstay protector. Well, that's enough of this nonsense. What do you say? We got to go outside now and put it to the real test. Okay, guys, as you can see, we're now outside on the Dual Star. And first thing we're going to do is we're just going to see if we can go through all the gears. I'm in the lowest gear right now, the biggest cog. Just going to go up one at a time. Wow. Well, looks like we can shift through all the gears. I've done this a few times and I've never had this good of luck. One other thing I wanted to point out with this micro shift Acolyte shifter is you can downshift a few at a time. If you press all the way and give it a full press, it'll downshift 2 gears at a time. And if you just press it halfway, it'll do 1 at a time. And you can only upshift 1 gear at a time no matter what. It's a tight fit here on the handlebars, but everything works. And for reference, guys, so if you're out here and you're riding and you're noticing that you need to adjust the derailleur, you adjust it from this barrel connector right here on the shifter itself. One of the first things I noticed when I first put this on is when you go off curbs, you don't hear that chain slapping around. Let's see if I can show you guys. I turn off the derailleur now, try and show you how much more the chain slaps around. Again, I don't know why you don't want to do this. So there you have it, guys. Overall, I think this is an awesome upgrade, especially for a $100 price point and a few hours of your time. You know, even if you're slightly mechanically inclined, you can get it done. It can be a bit frustrating. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Paste picante sauce.